Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to Career with Kalpi. I hope all of you are keeping safe. In the last session, we had an amazing conversation with Uma, who's the co-founder of The Star in Me. If you missed it, I'll post the link in description. One of the career paths that I've been very keen to know about is that of an executive coach or a career coach. In today's session, we have an amazing guest with us, Smita Shetty. An alumna of IIM Bangalore, Smita has spent 20 plus years in corporate world across multiple roles, and she has been an executive coach for the last 3 years. Hi, Smita. Thank you very much for taking out the time to be on this series. Really excited for our conversation.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for your kind words.
So, to begin with, we want to better understand your career journey. 20 plus years in corporate, that's a long time across multiple functions. And then, most importantly, your transition to executive coaching. How did that happen?
Post IIM Bangalore, because I had a HSBC back experience as well as experience in ICICI for my summers. I got into City Financial. What I liked about City Financial, and that kind of framed how my career interests would be, was just that it had a lot of different flavors to it. So I was responsible for sales, marketing, credit, collection. So I was responsible for the whole P&L for a branch. And just that being able to do multiple things was something that really excited me, and that set the tone for the rest of my career. So after City Financial, I joined iSure Consulting Services, which later got acquired by PwC. And there again, it's consulting, right? So I always loved that job, and a lot of process improvement, market entry strategy. Those were the kind of projects that I did during my stint there. And throughout my career journey, my career has been a very important part of my life, but it hasn't been the most important part. So for me, spending time with my kids growing up was very important. And now that I told you my daughter is a sophomore, I'm really glad that when she was younger and my son was younger, I took career breaks to spend time with them. So once when ECS, I was working in ECS, that's when I was pregnant with Sani. So I went part-time, I took a career break. And that's when I got an opportunity to come to the US. And I worked in Santander as a change manager. That again, it's a different flavor, which I really enjoyed. And then for the last 7 years, I've been working in Cigna, the US branch of Cigna. And again, it's in the program manager kind of role. So that's been my journey. And how I got into coaching is purely by accident. So before this was 7 years ago, I was interviewing for positions. I had taken a career break then because my son was born. So I was exploring job opportunities. And one of the jobs said, you have to be able to coach executives. And I was like, this is a new animal. I'd never heard of coaching before that. So I actually did a certification then because it kind of keyed my interest. And I stayed with it. I would use it during my work, but I never really thought of branching into my career per se. But interestingly, one of my mentees, she reached out to me for advice. And it was just one of those life-changing situations. And she had to take a decision over a week. And everybody in the family was pressurizing her to go a certain way. And I was leaning in that direction to tell her to do what she didn't want to do. But I didn't want to be that person to advise her or mentor her. So I said, I'll coach you. So over 6 days, we spent about 5-6 hours and I kept coaching her. And during that process, what really hit me hard was that she was right and the entire family was wrong. Her decision was right. And it was just, when you're coaching, it's a very raw, honest conversation that you have. Everything else falls away. And in that conversation, I realized I was so glad that I didn't advise her because my advice would have been wrong. So that's when I realized coaching is powerful. As I finished my coaching certification and I started coaching and I saw the value that it brought to my clients and to me. And that's when I was like, wow, I want to do this. I love doing this. So that's been my journey.
Thank you. That's very insightful and interesting to know, and kind of answers my next question as well, because I definitely wanted to know, like, how do you think in terms of strategy around your career paths and then exploring careers and pivoting to this, but that this kind of answers, this story kind of answers how you thought about executive coaching and then how you kind of pivoted around this. Anything else
So
that
the
you want to
other,
add to that?
yeah. So I think any career move that I've made, what I've always made sure that I am able to do is, one, I am able to provide value day one,
Right.
because you want to be in that position. Two, is there something that you are learning on a daily basis? And three, is it something that you enjoy? And for me, variety is one of the key ingredients. So for me, those were the three. So any new job that I took, it was important for me to have these three ingredients, and that kind of kept me true to how I want to frame my career over the last so many years.
That makes sense. And those kind of ingredients also then fit well into kind of coaching, executive coaching or career coaching as well, value addition, learning and growth, as well as what you enjoy doing, which is doing a variety of roles. So I assume working with different kind of people kind of gives you that variety.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Like it's just amazing, the variety of people, different range of stories, and just inspirational stories that you get to hear. So it's amazing.
Awesome. So then moving on a little bit to the kind of skill sets, because that I feel like is a black box. People do not know, even if I want to become an executive coach, because maybe I enjoy some elements of it. How do I become that? Are there any certifications, courses? How do I kind of figure out these are the skill sets which are needed and this is where I am? So if you can kind of throw some light on that.
Sure. The entry barrier to becoming a coach is very, very low. Like you can do a $20 coaching certification on Coursera, and you will literally become a coach, right? So how do you then really become a really good coach, and how do you kind of position yourself as somebody that people want to spend money in? So it all boils down to you really investing in growing yourself as a coach and growing yourself as a person. I cannot tell my clients that you need to get rid of your inner critic and your imposter syndrome if I'm at least not on that journey myself. So if self-development isn't an area of interest, then this is probably not the career path for you. So that needs to be your interest. In terms of what courses and certification you can do, and I took down a couple acronyms, and you can check this on Google. ICF accredit. So there are 4 accreditations that you can. It's kind of like the PMI for project management, right? So
Right.
you have ICF, which is International Coaching Certification. And I'm going to rattle off a whole lot of acronyms because I thought your viewers might be interested. There's IAC, International Association of Coaching. Then you have CCE. Then there's one more, I forget now. But you have these organizations which give you the certification. And I am associated with the ICF. So I'm right now, just this year, a couple months ago, I wrapped up my PCC certification classes. That's the second level. So I'm aligned with ICF, and you can pick any of the others. With ICF, how it works is that you have an ACC level coach, you have a PCC level, and then an MCC level. So associate, professional, master coach. For a professional coach, you have to have finished 500 hours of coaching. You need to have done so many number of classroom sessions, mentor coaching, peer coaching. You need to pass a test. So there's multiple things that you need to do to be able to get to becoming a PCC coach. And obviously for an MCC coach, it's at a much higher level, right? So there's more hours, continuing education and all of that stuff. Where I did my certification is through Coach Training EDU. I did my ACC as well as my PCC there. And I would highly recommend them. I think they're fairly competitive, even by Indian, like courses and stuff. But more importantly, what I love is they're good people. And I enjoy learning from them, and I am glad to be in their company, and that speaks a lot. So I'm really glad that I joined there, because I did a lot of research and every organization looked the same. but this is an organization that really spoke to me, and I'm very glad to be associated with them. So that's about the certifications. And again, you have to keep learning, right? Like I've worked with, like I've taken coachings, like sessions from Michael Neal, other coaches, and so it's a constant process of learning. You asked, so did you want me to talk about the skills as well? Was that your question too? Like what skills you have? Okay, 2 skills at the end of it. One is, and it always resonates with my clients when I tell them our life becomes like this knotted ball of yarn. This conflicting priorities, competing decisions, there's things that's holding you back, and you're right in the middle and you can't make sense of it. So as a coach, what I do is I take my clients on this journey of awareness, get them to this bird's eye view, and then they know, okay, this is the knot, this is how I created it, and this is how I sought for it. So that ability to take the client on a self-awareness journey, that is what you learn through asking power. You do that through asking these questions that incite the client to think. The other piece, so powerful questions. The other piece is just very effective learning and listening. And when we are doing our coaching certification, we talk about 3rd level of listening, going beyond the words, looking at their body language, looking at what expressions they have, and making sense of that and kind of bring that up to the surface for them to see. That is what I think is a good coach. Like when I work with my mentor coaches, I'm amazed at how much they will realize about me, things that I don't know. And that's exactly what, so for me, that's an aha moment when I can do that for my clients.
Got it. And I would actually put all of these certifications in description as well. You have done so much of research. I think it's super useful to know that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I think the other thing that I wanted to check with you was also, it must be challenging to transition out of the corporate world, right? Because you already have a successful career as corporates, and then as an executive coach, you're almost starting on your own, and it really depends on, how many clients, etc. you can get, or maybe, there are certain other challenges. So can you maybe discuss a few of those challenges, and then what are the learnings from there? How did you navigate those?
So upfront, I'm still working at Cigna. So I haven't really transitioned, and that's one of the advantages, or how should I say this? It's what's good about coaching is it's not time bound. So you can do it at any time. A lot of my clients actually prefer to talk post their work time. So they do their work, and then I meet them in the evening, which works out very well. So I coach in the evenings, and I coach on weekends, early mornings before my kids wake up. So that's kind of working very well for me. One of the things that my friends ask me is, you've had a long day of work and then you go and coach, and aren't you tired? And for me, the answer is no. It actually rejuvenates me, because when I feel like I have made an impact to my client, it just is, it's an amazing feeling. And that is what I really strive for. So from that perspective, it's kind of been almost helpful for my day job. Also, the other part is just that opportunities that come up, right? So with COVID, the first 2 weeks, and I was just walking around like a zombie all around the house. Like, I didn't know what to do. But I realized that was the time that I could really use. So the last 2 years, I have really ramped up my career as a coach. I use this time well. So just picking up those opportunities that come your way. If you have clear intentions, then the universe lays the paths down for you. Identify that, go with it. So there will be those things. I have taken career breaks though. As I said, like with my kids, I wanted to make sure that I wanted to spend time. So I've done that. And I think the only feedback that I would give is, when you take a career break, make sure that you come back a better person. I took a career break when even before Sami was born, we had a chance to travel to the West Coast in the US, and I took a year's break. But in that year's break, I went and joined an NGO which was helping people who lost their jobs. And what was good is because they themselves were looking for a job, so they needed somebody to kind of keep the organization running. So within 2-3 months, I was a member of the board. I was a training director. So I was 25 years old, and I was actually helping run an NGO in the US. And that was an amazing experience for me. And I came back and I joined when I joined back work, it was at almost a 50% increase in my salary. And so that was like an aha moment. I mean, I took time off, I picked out, and I came back at a higher salary. And
That's awesome.
that happened was because I improved myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great to know. Lastly, in this role as an executive coach, how do you define success? What are the goals that one should look for as an executive coach?
Oh, of course, there's the money, names that you will be associated with, the book deal. There is a lot that comes with it. But at the end of it, what really defines success for me, and you're going to be probably, I don't know, scandalized, but and it's going to sound really odd, but if I can make my client cry, that's a success for me, because they have held on to some grief, something, and if they are able to release that, they make progress. Every time that my clients had this moment where they've broken down, they've literally jumped, where they've had this conversation and suddenly they settle down, just go quiet. Because whatever conflict, whatever was running in their head over and over, it's all gone. And they go still. That for me is that amazing success moment when they suddenly are like, this is what I have to write down, and they'll find a paper, they'll find a pen, and I don't want to lose what we discovered right now, and they write a note about it. Those moments, and when you're working in your day job, a lot of times what you do, the value of it will come maybe a year, 2 years down the line when whatever the project you're doing gets implemented, right? So how successful you were, the feedback for that is not immediate. But when you're a coach, you will know at the end of the session just how powerful it was or not. And when it is powerful, when your client has had that breakthrough, it's an amazing experience. And for me, that is success.
Wow, I honestly wasn't expecting that answer, but thank you so much. Any last tips or advice to our audience?
It's a business of helping people. I keep a gratitude journal, and one of the things that I put in is, how did you impact the world today positively, right? So a lot of times all I'm saying is I chauffeured my kids to their hobby class, and that's all that I could have done, in that day. But when I've done coaching, I know that I helped a client, and their name goes on that list where I impacted somebody positive. So if that's something that speaks to you, if self-improvement speaks to you, I think this is an absolutely amazing place to be, and I love it. So definitely recommend.
Thank you so much, Smita. Thank you so much for so many wonderful insights and sharing your beautiful journey with our audience. Wish you really long and successful career, especially as an executive coach. And I'm sure your clients are very, very fortunate and happy to have you as their coach. And thank you everyone for watching. I'm sure you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Please let us know in comments if you had any follow-up questions, if you wanted to know anything else about executive coaching. We'll put all the links, certifications, courses, etc. In description below for your reference. Stay tuned to Career with Kalpi. Keep safe. I'll see you in the next video.